I recently wrote, polls suggest Republicans fared poorly during the 2022 midterms over the issue of abortion. The Supreme Court, of course, overturned Roe v. Wade, putting the matter back to the states where it belongs, and where it was, by the way, through all of America's history until 1973. Now, this infuriates many female and young voters who consider, quote, access to abortion a right, end of quote. Republicans have not figured out a way of dealing with this political disadvantage. If the minds of pro-abortion believers cannot be changed, they can perhaps be convinced at least that those who disagree come to the debate in good faith and not as anti-women. I also pointed out this. In 1977, Reverend Jesse Jackson spoke at a pro-life rally in Washington, D.C., where he said this, and I'm quoting him, "There are those who argue that the right to privacy is of a higher order than the right to life. You could not protest the existence or treatment of slaves on the plantation because that was private and therefore outside your right to be concerned. What happens," said Jackson, "to the mind of a person and the moral fabric of a nation that accepts the aborting of the life of a baby without a pang of conscience," end of quote. Now, Democrats, like California Governor Gavin Newsom, are fond of saying people who oppose abortion want to control women's bodies, want to tell women what to do.
How about all of those women and girls raped in states where they don't even make an exception for rape? Talk about extremists. Rape and incest. That's how extreme the Republican Party is in the United States of America.
And Newsom also said this.
And never would this happen if men were the ones having babies. Ever. And you know that, and I know that, and every damn person knows that. And that's the elephant in the room. Because women are treated as second-class citizens in this country. Women are treated as less than. Women are not as free as men. That's pretty damn sick.
But when you ask them, at what point has a pregnancy gone so far as to terminate the pregnancy would constitute murder, you get blank stares. Mahatma Gandhi, whom Martin Luther King called a guiding light, wrote this: "It is a sin to bring forth unwanted children, but I think it is a greater sin to avoid the consequences of one's own action. It simply unmans man," end of quote. Please welcome founder and executive director of the National Sidewalk Counseling Organization, Coalition Life, Brian Westbrook. Mr. Westbrook, thank you for joining me. Thank you. How do you respond when pro-abortion advocates say men like Mr. Westbrook and men like Mr. Elder shouldn't be telling women what to do with their bodies, and that if you could get pregnant, we wouldn't be having this conversation, end of quote? What's your response?
Well, I think it's really important to realize that an abortion may take a life of a woman or a man, a male or a female. So little boys and also little girls are aborted. So when it comes to slavery and any other human rights issue, we all should have a voice. And here in the United States, we should all have a voice when it comes to the topic of abortion, and both men and women should all be talking about this.
What about people that consider people who don't support exceptions for incest and for rape? They're called extremists. What's your reaction?
Sure. Here at Coalition Life, our goal is to love children and women regardless of their situation. So when it comes to rape and incest, we are really focused on helping the women, because an abortion does not solve the issue. The abortion doesn't take the rape away. And so what we really need to focus on is helping that woman bring this child to term and helping her through the process of the traumatic situation she went through.
Mark, one woman told me, you know, Larry, every woman at the back of her mind has a fear that maybe someday she might be raped. Every woman has that fear. And I said, I understand. And I said, the likelihood is that the rapist is somebody who never should have been out in the street in the first place. And many of the soft on crime DAs and people like that in these policies are having people who are preying on women who wouldn't be preying on them if the law enforcement community was doing its job.
Yeah, I think it's really important to realize that with the all these exceptions they're talking about, the real victim is the mother. And who should we be talking about? We should be talking about the rapist, the man who certainly didn't respect the beauty and wonder of the woman who was raped. We should be talking about loving her and caring for her, not putting her through yet another traumatic experience.
Mark, Brian, as you know, I ran for governor in California. And when I ran, the Texas fetal heart bill issue came up, as if California is going to change its rape laws, its abortion laws, given how left-wing the state is. But it became an issue in the campaign. And I said, please ask my opponent, Gavin Newsom, at what point does he believe a pregnancy has gone so far that to terminate the pregnancy would constitute murder? And of course, it never did. And you can't press these people because they won't give you an answer.
Right, exactly. I think a lot of individuals realize that at the moment of fertilization, we become separate and individual and unique. And so there's not some point that we magically become human. We become human at the moment of fertilization, when mother and father come together to create another human being. And so we need to realize that that is a murder, regardless of where you are in the process of pregnancy. But many of our opponents will even make an argument that after the child has been born, that it would be okay still to kill that child or simply to let them die.
What's that? A pair of my slippers in my baby brown libertarian fingers? Right there. They come in different colors. There's also different style if you don't like this style. And then I have right here the new MyPillow 2.0, even better than the original. I kid you not. Just call the number on your screen. There are, by the way, over 100 products. Call the number on your screen or go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER, mypillow.com, promo code ELDER. And this is the 6-pack of towels. Notice it says towels at work, meaning towels that actually absorb the water. Isn't that what you want towels to do? All too often they don't. These do, and they come in different colors. Did I mention that there are over 100 products? Finally, this is the Giza Dream bedsheet. Giza is in Egypt, where the finest cotton in the world can be found. Also the birthplace of Bolus, one of the members of my team. Now, this one comes in white. Why? Well, I'm the black face of white supremacy, but you're not. You may want a different color. And they come in different sizes because beds come in different sizes. Again, call the number on your screen or go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER. That's mypillow.com, promo code ELDER. And Brian, of course, these are the follow the science people.
Right. I know. Right. I mean, it's scientific fact. We are human beings at the moment of fertilization. And so this idea that viability is maybe a line that we could talk about. I mean, it's really important to understand that you don't become more or less human at the moment of quote unquote viability. And so it's really important for us to support women right where they're at. So we do that through the pregnancy centers, the thousands of pregnancy centers around the nation, including the one that we run here in St. Louis, Missouri. But then also when we go out to the abortion facilities and actually talk to these women as they're driving in, almost all of the clients that we talk to, they feel like they have absolutely no choice. So the idea that it's the so-called pro-choice movement is outrageous. They feel they have no choice at all, and we're here to offer them choices.
When I was pressed on this issue, Brian, I asked the reporter, do you think that Dr. Kermit Gosnell is a political prisoner? And she had a deer in the headlight look, like somebody just hit her in the head with a 2x4. I said, that's the abortion doctor behind bars for violating Pennsylvania's late abortion laws. Do you think he should be let out? Was he prosecuted, if not persecuted? And she had no response.
Well, I mean, there's a whole documentary that specifically talks about Kermit Gosnell and what he had done. The reason they went in had to do with him just writing prescriptions out just randomly. And I think it really, no abortionist can practice the vice of abortion virtuously. And so we saw that with Kermit Gosnell, and we saw that with many other abortionists around the country. So I think it's really important that we focus on all the dangers of abortion, even Kermit Gosnell.
I said to another reporter who pressed me on this, I said, how do you feel about dogs? Oh, I love dogs. So if you're on a walk and you hear your neighbor beating his dog, what would you do about it? I'd call 911. Well, I consider abortion to be a sin, but you want me to absent myself from the argument?
Right. I mean, that's why we go out to these abortion facilities, is because we do matter. And silence only helps the person doing the persecuting. right? It never helps the victim. And when we see women, and of course the children involved, but women being the victims of this abortion battle. And it's not about money or power. It's about the principalities of evil and Satan here, because Satan loves the beauty of life. God loves the beauty of our life, and Satan just wants to destroy it. And so we go out there first and foremost in prayer, and second of all, to love these women and love these children. And so that's why we go out, and that's why we're so successful out there. We've seen over 3,500 turnarounds in front of these abortion facilities where these women have an opportunity to choose life. And so that's why we go out, and that's why we serve through the pregnancy centers as well.
Isn't it also the case, Brian, that blacks at around 13% or so of the population, over 30% of the pregnancies are performed on black females?
Yeah, there's a disproportionate amount of abortions done on those with darker skin. That's a fact. And if we go to New York City, for instance, more black children are aborted in New York City than born to black mothers. And I think this is an atrocity that somehow the abortion industry has convinced those in minority groups that they can't make it. I mean, all the fundraising emails that I see from all these pro-abortion groups, they're all talking about black or brown disadvantaged individuals. Well, I actually love to support everyone, regardless of their skin color. And so that's what we do here at our pregnancy center and around the country at many of our sites for our sidewalk counseling.
Brian, I mentioned the speech that Jesse Jackson gave in 1977 at the pro-life rally. 4 years later, he ran for president and did a 180 on his beliefs. What do you think happened?
Well, I think I really don't know. And I think a lot of people really don't know. But I mean, it's about really a guess. A guess would be that maybe a certain donor or certain individuals say, well, if you switch your position on this issue, then maybe we might be able to donate more to you. But I think for any of us, that would be a guess, but that would probably be my best guess.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk about the politics of this. I think it was Governor Mike Huckabee, former governor of Arkansas, who said after Roe v. Wade got overturned that politically it's going to hurt us, even if this is the right decision. And it appears that the issue of abortion came up in the midterms in 2020, which is one of the reasons why Republicans underperformed. How do Republicans, on a political basis, deal with this issue so they don't keep losing elections because of it?
Well, I think it's really important that those individuals running for office are really clear on where they stand on abortion. I think a lot of the people I speak with, and we talk to a lot of people around the country who are pro-life, wanting to see a difference, they don't want to vote for a wishy-washy candidate. They want to vote for someone who is strong on the issue of abortion. And so we saw that. We saw that through the midterm elections, and I would predict that we would see that next November, that strong candidates who are strong on their issue of abortion are going to be the ones who are the victors. I mean, Governor DeSantis in Florida just recently talked about how he was sent by over 50% of the citizens, and that he needs to take a strong stand with regards to abortion, not a wimpy stand.
Brian Westbrook, give us your website again.
Sure, it's coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com, and you're all invited to come to, we have an event on April 29th. Come to St. Louis if you're anywhere in the area, stlmarch.com. And we would just love to be able to bring our sidewalk counseling to anywhere in the country. And so if you're interested in bringing us to your city or your town, we'd love to be there with you. Brian
Westbrook, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Larry.
Now, I know you like the show, so hit that like button, hit subscribe, and then scroll down just a little bit. That way you get on our mailing list to make sure that you don't miss any of our videos. For reasons that escape us, from time to time, YouTube seems to have a problem with our videos. So if you want to make sure you don't miss any of them, get on our mailing list. And also, there's a little round donate button. Hit that. Throw a little something in the tip jar. Make sure Epoch Times still continues to giving you hard-hitting, candid, honest programming. Remember, Larry with Epoch.com, Larry with EPOCH.com. This is Larry Elder, and this has been the Larry Elder Show for Epoch Times. We've got a country to save. Thank you so much for for your viewership. Thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for your appreciation. Out.